Hey guys, it's Bryce Hawk from Edge of Infinity Gaming. I know it's been a while, but here we are today to see if you should pass or play on Robo Recall. Robo Recall is a game made by Epic Games. They're the people that made Gears of War, Unreal Tournament, Fortnite, and Paragon, which recently seems to have been dying down quite a bit. In Robo Recall, you start out in a not-so-distant future city where RoboReady has released personal robots to the public. These bots soon go rogue, so they employ you to recall their malfunctioning droids. From there on, you're on an action-packed journey to find the cause of the rebellion and put it to an end. Before I recorded this video, I played through a few levels and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I took the time to actually beat the game recently, and I believe that I can make a fully aware judgment on whether or not this game is worth a pass or a play. So, without any further ado, let's get started with the pros. First off, I would like to say that this game is very beautiful. If you have the computer that can handle it, you can really crank the settings up and it'll be a city that you would like to see in real life. The amount of detail that they put into their maps was actually pretty incredible. You'd see things like cars and trash on the streets, and there's tons of cars. Pretty much anywhere you see, you can actually go to and teleport to. I never personally experienced an invisible wall throughout my playthrough, which I think is pretty neat. Another thing I would like to say about the game is that it actually has pretty great controls. I never really found myself confused about what buttons I should press to do what. Also, I thought the mechanic for switching weapons was actually pretty neat. It was like grabbing from your back to get your shotgun, or to your side to get your rifle, your pistol. I thought that was a pretty neat mechanic. Throughout the game, they don't put that much emphasis on story, but what they really do well is the game is freaking hilarious. I have not laughed this much in a game since the Portal games. I felt that the humor was pretty close to the Portal games. I think they probably took some inspiration, especially considering, you know, it's robots, you know, Gladys. I'm sure they took a little bit of inspiration from Gladys. The humor was pretty awesome. Not only was the humor pretty funny, but the soundtrack was not bad at all. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really find myself humming these tunes or anything, but throughout the game, you're not bored. You're not sitting there thinking, oh man, this is just scraping against my ears. No, it's pleasant to the ears. It's a pretty good soundtrack. Something that pairs really well with the game being hilarious is that they actually took the time to hire decent voice actors. The voice actors really seem to get their roles, and that makes the punchlines even that much more hilarious. Another thing I'd like to say is kind of like Super Hot, where it makes you feel like a badass. Like, it's not on the same level as Super Hot, where you're just like going slow motion, full Matrix mode, but this game really does make you feel like a badass, especially whenever you put both hands down, pull up both of your pistols, start just going ham on the robots, just unloading 60 bullets. It really does make you feel like a badass, like you're actually doing this. It's really good at immersing you and making you feel like you're so much cooler than you actually are, which might be a harsh way of putting it, but this game, it's awesome at making you feel like you're like a superhero. Well, as we know, not every game can be absolutely perfect, so with every pro, there comes some cons too. So let's get started with the cons list. First off, to all you viewers who own the HTC Vive, I would like to apologize. Since Robo Recall has a partnership with Oculus, there's no Vive support. This game heavily relies on the Oculus touch controls anyway. I'm not entirely sure if the HTC Vive would translate very well. You might get another issue like you did with Echo Arena, where it works, but it's just not great. Sorry about my cat bitching in the background. He does this a lot. Get out of here, cat. I fed you earlier. One other con I would say that this game has is, it kind of goes back to the first point I made. This game is really beautiful. You kind of need a beefier PC. I'm just skirting along with the 480, the RX 480, and a i7 CPU. So I meet basically the minimum requirements of VR. And the game's not as pretty as it could be. And if I put it any prettier, you know, I'd lag behind. I'd probably get some motion sickness. Oh, which could also be a con, by the way. I got no motion sickness with this game. So yeah, there you go. One thing that I found kind of disappointing about this game is that it was actually pretty short. There were 9 missions, and that just did not... It got to kind of like climax, and the climax was just a little bit too soon, like a premature, you know, like nobody likes to be premature. And I feel like this game wanted to go a little longer, but, you know, it happens to the best of us. I mean, funding runs out, you know, you have a thought that you didn't think you were going to have, and it's gone. That's what happened in this game, and it's kind of disappointing, but for what it was a fun game. Just wish it lasted a little longer. Alright, we did the pros and cons, all that shit. Let's do the some of the moments that are not necessarily pros, they're not necessarily cons, they're not bad enough that I would call them cons anyway. This game it does not have full locomotion. So you're to the standard teleporting, but this game does it right. You know, some games you just teleport and you look directly in front of you where it was. It's not very immersive. Like, yeah, it takes you out of the immersion, but it adds some more functionality. Like, you can just teleport on top of this building, and not only that, but if you tilt the analog stick whichever way you want to be looking, it'll face you that way. You're not forced to turn around. You can easily play this game in a seated environment if you so choose. So, given the fact that it's good teleportation but no locomotion, I give that an eh. One last thing that I find a bit iffy about this game is that it seems to have a limited arsenal. Like, whenever you go into your garage and you only have, I believe it's 4 weapons to choose from, that can be a little limiting. I wish there was more weapons, but a good thing is that you can pick up weapons from dead enemies, and they'll have different modifications. I think is really neat. And there's also some other weapons that you cannot get in your armory, such as this little leash thing that you can fling enemies around on. It was pretty cool. I just wish that I could use it in my armory and spawn into the mission with it. But I can understand that, you know, maybe some missions would be a little broken if they did that. Anyway, those are all the pros and the cons of this game, Robo Recall. Given the fact that I had a blast playing it and I thought it was hilarious, the story was alright, I would definitely say, oh yeah, there's one final thing that I forgot to say. If you have Oculus Touch, you have this game. It's free with touch controls. So obviously, go ahead and give it a play. Even if you gotta buy it for some reason, it's not in your inventory or whatever. I would say this game is totally worth $40. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of replayability between different ways to run a mission, or different difficulty levels and stuff, a lot of scoreboards and stuff. It's a lot of fun to play. Go ahead and give it a play. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of Pass or Play. I do hope you liked it. If you did like it, go ahead and leave a like. And if you have any criticisms or would like to request something for the future, go ahead and check out the comment section below. I'll be happy to read every single one of the comments. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you guys next time.